But I always thought Jim Harbaugh would be a great coach at Michigan, and I think Michigan is one of those 7 or 8 really important brands in college football, like a Duke, Kentucky, Kansas college basketball that I think make the sport better. Yankees in baseball, Celtics, Lakers, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. There are certain brands that feel bigger than everybody else, and it's part of their history. It's part of the sport's fabric. So Michigan had to replace 10 of 11 starters on defense alone, and it didn't matter. That game was so Harbaugh. And everybody was like, I don't know about Michigan. Listen, they were going to be good. Do I think they're as good as Alabama and Ohio State? I do not. Are they as good as Penn State? I'm not sure. But that was so Harbaugh. That was so physical. And what Jim Harbaugh's done, he's created an identity. And I've talked about this for years and years about hotels. You got to either be high-end, Ritz-Carlton Four Seasons, or at the bottom, Motel 6 or Red Roof Inn. You just don't want to get trapped in the middle. You want to have an identity. So when you go out and you recruit and you try to find coaches, they're like, oh, Michigan's tough and bruising. So they went and played an SEC team, a powerhouse, an SEC team that has multiple national championships, that Spurrier's coached at, that Urban Meyer's coached at. This is a big dog in the SEC. Oh, this is one of the really good programs. And that was a physical butt kicking. Florida averaged 0.4 yards a carry. Florida got wrestled to the ground, never scored an offensive touchdown. Even their coach, Jim McElwain, this wasn't about anything other than Harbaugh imposing his will on Florida football.
Thought we had a good plan. As it turned out, the plan was pretty well foiled by getting physically whooped by big, strong guys. You got to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do in the weight room. They took it to us. It was pretty obvious. So,
yeah. SEC fan, this is the kind of game that you used to make fun of the Big Ten. Harbaugh just humiliated you. He is now 21-6, taken over a program, 8-2 at a conference. The only 2 losses, Utah in his first game. They were a bowl team, Florida State on the last second. By the way, the Pac-12 had a great weekend. The Big Ten had a great weekend. The SEC is lucky they didn't have 3 catastrophes. Tennessee won last night, barely. But the bigger point today is Jim Harbaugh. This is why what's happening in America right now with Amazon.com is they're ending retail. People are petrified in retail. That the brands that will survive are going to be brands that have a specific identity. Costco. When I say Costco, right now you're watching or driving around, what do you think? Bulk items. If I say Target, I can get jeans, an avocado, and a TV set. Specific brand. They have everything at good prices. If I say Southwest Airlines, nonstops, economical, is when you build a specific brand, it is so much easier to recruit, so much easier to attract coaches. And when you go to work every day, you know what you are. You're not guessing. You're not grab bagging it. If I say Pete Carroll, aggressive, defensive-minded, intense. If I say Belichick, flexible, smart, efficient. If I say Saban, defensive, run the football, power, intimidation. This wasn't just Michigan beating Florida. This is what Jim Harbaugh has done now for the 3rd straight time. He went to Stanford. I watched. By the 2nd year, I had a Pac-12 coach tell me, forget USC. Harbaugh's Stanford team is the most physical in the conference. He went to the 49ers. They were so physically intimidating. And now look at Michigan. I don't think they have the talent of Alabama or the talent of Ohio State yet. But what you watched is what Harbaugh does. A specific brand, inarguable, intimidating, physical, punch in the throat, step on your throat, and they went up against a big dog in the SEC and physically humiliated them. I mean, Jim McElwain, have you ever seen a coach just acknowledge it? Yeah, we got to do more work in the weight room. I mean, listen to Jim McElwain. Look at the expressions on his face. He's embarrassed.
Thought we had a good plan. As it turned out, the plan was pretty well foiled by getting physically whooped by big, strong guys. You got to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do in the weight room. They took it to us. It was pretty obvious. So,
yeah, it was. Let me shift to this. Texas A&M UCLA was a wild game this weekend. Kevin Sumlin was the losing coach. Jim Morrow was almost a losing coach. They're both on a hot seat. A regent for Texas A&M is named Tony Busby. He's an attorney. Most of the Texas A&M boosters and regents are attorneys, excuse me. He said after the game he wanted Kevin Sumlin out. He went to Facebook, blistered him. He said basically, I'm disappointed. Kevin Sumlin outcoached, isn't new. He recruits well, but can't coach in the big games or the close games. Our players were better tonight. Our players were more talented tonight, but our coaches were dominated on TV yet again. Can I ask a question to that regent? When you were ahead 44-10 on the road, was he a bad coach then? When you had completely stifled arguably the best quarterback in college football, was he a bad coach then? When Josh Rosen had no time, no receivers were open, was completely baffled by Texas A&M's defense. When Kevin Sumlin created an offensive game plan that ran for 380 yards, was he a bad coach then? Hey, regent guy, you had two quarterbacks transfer out. They were both good. You were left with two quarterbacks who aren't very good, and one of them got hurt. So you were relying on a true freshman backup on the road against arguably the best quarterback in the country. See, what happened with Texas A&M happens to a lot of people, a false sense of achievement. Johnny Manziel gave A&M fans a false sense of, wow, we're really special. And no, you're not. You are a slightly better than average college football program. TCU and Baylor, Oklahoma State have been better programs in your own region the last 10 years. Since 1998, do the math, you've had 1 10-win season. That was Kevin Sumlin's. By the way, without Johnny Manziel since 1990, 27 years, your biggest bowl win is the Holiday Bowl. Texas A&M fans joined the SEC, and for a couple of years, due to a wildly dynamic and exhilarating quarterback named Johnny Manziel, you competed with Alabama. Hey, we're special. We're elite. No, you're completely average. Regents should worry about fundraising and legal matters and construction projects. Leave the game planning to the coach. In your own region, you're not special. Oklahoma is. TCU has been. Oklahoma State's on fire. But I love when regents, lawyers, jump in and start defining what a good football coach is. This was a story of a team that got a massive lead, had a great game plan, completely suffocated Josh Rosen. I've never seen him that perplexed for a half, and then had to go to a true freshman backup quarterback who's not very good on the road. A team had a massive lead. And UCLA, playing against more of a prevent defense, got really, really hot and won the game. Texas A&M sees itself as Hollywood royalty. We're Hanks, Denzel, Clooney, Robert Downey, Matthew McConaughey, Brad Pitt, Jamie Foxx. That's not what you are. You're Brendan Fraser. You are a slightly better than average program, and the most success you've had recently is due to Kevin Sumlin's great recruiting and offensive wizardry. The fact they could get almost 400 yards rushing when UCLA, who's got a good defense, knew that was the only thing you could do, is not bad coaching. Games like that don't happen very often, but they do happen. They do happen. Hi, everybody, and thanks for watching. We want you to subscribe here, to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.